Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Castor WPF. In this video we're going to learn things little bit differently from the previous videos. And in previous videos we learned about data binding and from the backend as well as in the XML code, and we even binded the class objects into the UI. So in this video actually we will look at a real-time use case scenario, and we'll build a news article or a news application which fetches the news from news.google.com, and it picks up all the data that comes over here and shows into our UI. So the output is going to be something like this, and as you can see, it's a very simple application. It just gives the news title along with the news link with the published date. So this actually gives you live data, so you can even refresh the information and get the latest news. So here you get a link of the each articles, where you can click on the link and it opens up the news article related to that link. So that is a pretty straightforward application what we're going to do, and this is nothing related to whatever we're not going to do anything on the C# side. Almost 90% of the code is in XML itself. So in over the course of the video we'll learn how to use the XML data and bind them directly into the UI. And the XML data is not from the local, can be from the local, but we'll fetch it from the internet and directly bind them into the UI. So this video also talks about how items control works and item template, how we can create our own item template. So as you can see, everything that is here is a item, and this full part of the application is controlled by items control, and it's placed inside a scroll viewer so that everything is scrollable depending upon the number of items available. So using of the Google logo and Google data is just for educational purposes only. It's not intended for commercial purposes. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you are going to do is you're going to create a new project. Choose WPF and mention news application and click on create. So in the meanwhile it creates, we'll see how to get this data as a XML format, because this data is not like we are not directly going to the website and reading, because that may take a lot of bandwidth depending upon your internet connection. So that is where RSS comes into picture. So if you don't know what RSS is, you can search in Google. So as of now, actually I have a link for RSS which is news.google.com/RSS. So if you open it, it actually gives you textual information of each article that comes into, along with the link and published date. So if you see the description, actually it's a HTML data, and in order to show HTML data you have to have rich text box in WPF to show HTML data, but that in order to make that as a bindable HTML data, then it's going to be a little bit more complicated than a straightforward things. So what we're going to do is we're not going to utilize the descriptions, so we'll utilize the title and publish date, and we have the link and from which source we are getting, so whether it's a Hindu or Z News or anything that comes like this. So if you take a closer look at the tags that are available here, you have RSS and you have channel, and under channel you have couple of description and everything related to Google, and after that you have a lot of items. So we are going to read these items in the YAML rather than getting an XML document as a local and reading it in C#. We are going to do it everything on the runtime, and that's where things get interesting. So the application is started, or the project has been created successfully. Here we have main window, and let's keep the basic settings, like I'm not having a background or even hello transparency, because we are going to create a rounded corner and a small rectangular window. So here actually instead of grid we will create a border with corner radius as 5, and you have a background. We will link it with the same color as Visual Studio, and as you can see you get a corner radius in the window, and instead of we'll change the width a little bit down, keep it as 300 or even 350. That comes a little bit closer to our output. So actually if you take a look at the output application, it basically has a grid, and with 3 different rows. One is the bottom status bar, and one is the title bar, and one is the content. And you can easily create this. This is not going to be a big of thing. So the children of the border is going to be grid, and my grid definition is going to have 3 rows, so as of now it's equally divided. What we'll do, we'll give only the content row as around 6 star, that divides the things. And over here we'll look about how to have title with logo. So a logo along with title is embedded inside a stack panel. Stack panel is something like you have things stacking up. It's literally what it spells out. So you can add things which stacks up, so either horizontally or vertically. So what we will do, we'll have a stack panel with orientation as horizontal, and inside you create a label, and instead of giving a logo we'll go with a generic thing. So we'll have a label with news application, and let's take it up a notch. Alright, we'll add contents, we'll add things a little bit later. So first things first, the content, what we're going to do about the content. So that's a very straightforward way. You have the link available over here, copy it, and we are going to create a resource called XML Data Provider, and we name it, we give a key because this is what we'll use it inside the UI. So it has source we'll put our URL, and there is a X path. So what we're going to do is we're going to mention the path, so that is RSS channel, and then we have item comes up. So till here if I get, and that will be easier for me to access it inside. So we have a news feed, set it up. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a items control, and you have item source, and we are binding that. Please note this particular section clearly. So it's a source, static source, and news feed, and XPath as item. So if you take a closer look, we are binding it to our news feed, and we are the why I mentioned item is that is what each item comes over here. So each tag. So under this we have title, link, and other data available. So let's get started. So under items control we have item template, and each item template comes under a data template, and this is where we are pushing the data. And we are going to create a border with corner radius as 5, and we have border thickness as 1, and border brush, let's keep it as gray. And as soon as you do that, it fills up the row 0, so we forgot to mention it as row 1. And so the border actually, let's keep minimum height as 50, and inside border we have a grid. Let's have a grid margin as 5. So So we're going to split this grid. So we have a grid row definition. So one is we have row title, and there is one more row which has the half the size of whatever we are having, which has the source link and which source it is. So title and source. So let's start putting things. The content we are going to do is based on binding, and XPath is the first thing is title. So XPath should be title, and foreground we will keep it as white. So as soon as I gave title, it populates things, as you can see. So this is where it gets interesting. So you don't have to write any piece of C# code, and you still manage to get the data from the XML data available on internet. So we will keep things a little bit higher. Okay, so you have the label available there, and the next thing is we create a stack panel with horizontal orientation, and the stack panel has first thing is link. So it comes with rounded corners. So I'm keeping it as 5, and background maybe gray. We'll change that a little bit later. So we have a link, source actually. So source is the, yeah, it's under source itself. So we have source, and it brings up the source of the article. And we forgot about the scroll viewer, so let's cover these things within the scroll viewer. So scroll viewer, and grid row is 1. We can remove it from the items control. And I have it here. So it now it becomes scrollable, and the only thing remaining is we need somewhere we can store the link of the article, so that when user clicks we can use that link to open the page. So first things first, we'll keep the margin 5 so that it's evenly split, and we missed out we missed out date. So this one comes under publish date. We can copy it, put XPath, publish date, and you get the data. So make the foreground as white, and even you can make it as italics, not full white. Maybe this is not relevant for the user, so I'll keep it a little bit gray. And even size, you can turn it down a bit, and layout center, So this thing actually goes beyond the available space, so user may need to resize the window to get to know what it is. So instead the title we can give it as a tooltip also. So we have a tooltip property, we'll bind it with the same as content, and the border. So the link, actually we still haven't discussed about where we are going to put the link. So the link is available under the link tag and the exact link of the article. So there are things where you can put things like pretty straightforward manner, because I'm going to put it under the border, so that when user clicks the border we can use it directly. So you don't know where to put, because this kind of data you don't know really showing it in the UI. So what we can do is we can put it under tag. Tag can be used to add any kind of data type paths. So I'm keeping X path as link. So the border now contains a tag which has a link, and the label has the source. So you can even add a tooltip, same binding as link, and one thing we are missing is change the cursor so that it's something clickable. And what we are going to do is we are going to keep border as a selection, and we are going to add a left mouse button click, mouse left button down. So open link. So you got this. This is the very first code that you're going to write in the C#. So like I said earlier, it's not going to be much of a thing. Very few things that you need to take care of in the back end. So what we are going to do is we are going to open the link that is available in the border. So the sender is the border, because sender only raises the event, the border only raises the event. So we'll create a link border, and we'll say sender as a border, and if sender, if it's not able to convert, then it will return as null. So make sure I have error handlings proper. So we have link border dot tag. So this will be XML node. So this is you might not heard before. If you look at to XML reading and XML writing, you might be familiar with this XML node. So node is nothing but each item. So title from start to end is a node, link from start to end is a node. So each thing that represents here are individual nodes. So you're using namespace, XML namespace, and under XML node you have inner XML or inner text. So inner text is something that's available between the node tags. So that is the link. So whatever you are seeing as a title, in between title, that's the inner text. So when it comes to UI, it directly picks up the inner text and shows it as a content that's available here. But here we have to take it from the inner text. So you got the link. Now actually we are going to create a process, the link. So the process is available under diagnostics. I'm pretty sure it should be that's all you're going to do. What else we are missing? The refresh, that we can handle it after. So let's just start the application and see what's going on, whether it's coming fine or not, or the link is working or not. So it's a straightforward thing. We haven't done anything on the back end. If you actually look, only code we have written is only to open the link. Apart from that, all the bindings and everything is done from the XAML itself. So the tooltip works for title as well as the links, and scrolling works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click any of the link and it just opens up in your default browser. So I have Chrome as my default browser, so it just opens it in the default browser. If you don't have it, will ask which browser you want to open. So we still don't have the close option and refresh option, and pretty much we are done. So if what we will do, I'm not going to do SVG, taking things from the internet, icons and everything. Instead we are going to keep things simple and create a button. I'm going to call it as a refresh, and keep it as a little bit away from the title, and you have click handler in the starting. So on refresh you create a handler, and what we are going to do is we are going to use this data provider and refresh the new data. So look for any changes that's available in the source. So the type is XML Data Provider, and this comes into resources, and you're going to keep the key. That's why that is necessary for making sure we are using it anywhere from the backend or in the XAML. And XML Data Provider, so we're going to consider that as a data provider because the resources doesn't know what it is, so we're going to cast it. And then we have XML Data Provider dot refresh. So you're good to go. That's almost everything we have done. So as of now there's no updates available, so maybe if you keep things open for a while and you want to refresh, you can click on refresh. It's going to update the things. So yeah, all that's pending is having a close button and touch and drag, remove the window. So that's also pretty much straightforward. You have it in the grid row 0. You have content X, foreground we'll keep it as white, and horizontal alignment as right, vertical alignment as top. There you go. You have a small X mark comes into picture. So if you want things as a this is slightly not the proper way. So you open character map in the run, and you get the from this font you have the character, copy it, paste it, you get a proper close option, and you add a left mouse button down, event, and close app. And maybe you can keep things visible to the user by giving a hand cursor when it moves over here. And what else we are missing? Click and drag. So click on the window and add a event in the mouse left button down. I'm going to keep it as drag me. So the function is make sure you enclose it with try catch, so that it sometimes it throws some error available when you're trying to move. So there's a function called drag move. So if you are following the earlier videos, this is very similar to what we have done earlier. So let's just start. Yeah, it is moving, and you have all the refresh and icons still is not there, but it's pretty much straightforward. I already covered those things in previous videos. I will give the link. So that's it. Actually, you learned about having items control, and you learned about having to bind data from XML, and even we did data binding which comes directly from the internet, not a local data. So that's it. So try it on your machines, and if you have any issues, always drop a comment here. I'll be happy to help. And if you like the video, give a thumbs up, and if you don't, you know what to do. And thanks for watching, and subscribe for more videos. Bye.